Right, hi everyone, so I'm joined by Mr. Mick Lowes, legendary commentator. Mick, we're all feeling a little bit, can we put it politely,
aren't we
displeased?
All? Yeah. Shambolic, absolutely shambolic. I was thinking coming out of the ground, I feel a little bit like I did the morning after the Sheffield Wednesday League Cup defeat not long ago, when I just despaired for a football club that we all love. And I just thought, where on earth are we going? And that felt like that today. It honestly felt like, I mean, all due respect to Norwich, they are a club who everybody thinks are going to struggle. They were comfortably,
by a mile,
way better than us today. So where does that leave Newcastle? We're not going to score goals. £40 million for a guy who can't even hold the ball up. Never mind score goals and miss headers like the chance he missed.
Just touch upon Nick. Mick, do you think though because he was surrounded by two players constantly, had no one around him?
Too easy. If you're £40 million worth of a player, all right, they don't set the fee. He doesn't say I'm a £40 million player, but they've paid £40 million for somebody who is clearly not a £40 million player. Now, he might be better in training, he might be better than we've seen today, and I hope he is. But on the basis of today, we're not going to score goals. We are not going to score goals. And if you don't score goals, you don't win games. And Norwich City, who, were well beaten at Liverpool and were a bit naive. But I said last weekend, after they lost to Liverpool and we got beat off Arsenal, they'll win next week. Because I was convinced they'd be more hungry and they'd be more determined and they'd be more committed to win the game. And that's exactly what they were.
Messaged you before the game and you said Norwich are winning this game.
Absolutely. I was convinced. I was in this hotel last night and I said to every Norwich City fan and I said to Newcastle fans, and I just didn't fancy us today. I just had this feeling. I mean, we don't do well here. Yeah. Over the years, this hasn't been a happy hunting ground. But it was more than that. I just had this feeling that we're just not at it at the minute, And I tell you what really hurt me was at the end where, and again, all due respect to Norwich City, right? They've got a manager, Farke, who's a German who we've never heard of. He's going round the ground and he's whipping them up, and it's fantastic. They've beaten Newcastle by 3-1. They've got a chairman in Delia Smith, who people like to ridicule, but they're a club. They're clearly a club that is together. And the fans are with them. All right, they only get 27,000. They don't get 52,000. But I was watching it at the end and I thought, do you know what it is? I would give my eye teeth for Newcastle to be Norwich City today. And that Keegan was stood in front of the Gallagher giving it that. And that we had an owner who cared. All right, it's only Delia Smith. But would you rather not have Delia Smith than Mike Ashley? They just feel like it's a small club. It's a tight club. It's a country bumpkin sort of club, but it's better than we are at this minute in time, and it was better than we are at this minute in time.
There's a good feel factor.
Exactly, and they don't take it for granted that they're in the Premier League, and they don't take it, as something that is accepted. They love it, and watching them beforehand coming here today. They just genuinely wanted to be back. And I love Tim Krul. I like Tim Krul. And I felt happy for Tim Krul. But at the same time, I despaired for Newcastle. I really did today. I thought, honestly, coming away from here, I know people say, we'll get relegated, we'll do this, we'll do that. Honestly, there is no transfer window now. There is no way of improving that squad. If that squad doesn't improve, then Newcastle are going to ship gallons of water between now and January. And I'm not too sure that the damage won't be irreparable.
Mick, I'm quite embarrassed to wear my shirt tonight. I came out the ground.
Well, you should never be that, In
terms of the performance,
exactly.
I don't feel...
I was saying to people last night, keep the faith, keep the faith, keep the faith. But honestly, when you get battered and you get battered and you get battered by mediocrity and a bad owner and everything that's wrong about the football club, it's difficult to keep the faith. And God bless them, they kept the faith. But it must be the hardest thing in the world.
Supporting this club it is. Steve Bruce is going to get a lot of stick now. 2 defeats from 2.
Yeah.
And we've got Spurs away down London. That's another tough one. Games are coming thick and fast and you need to pick up a point or two somewhere.
Well, the irony is, of course, that last season it was 10 without a win and the win was against Watford. And already you're looking at Watford in a fortnight's time and thinking, is that going to have to be the game that turns it around? Watford haven't started the season well by their standards recently. But I just think the whole malaise, just the feel about the club, and I don't necessarily blame Steve Bruce. If I got a call, you got a call,
Well,
anybody
it would be
watching, exactly, anybody watching this got a call from Mike Ashley, do you want to be manager of Newcastle United? You're not going to say no.
No.
You know, and he is. I think he genuinely is a black and white. But he's not only inherited a squad of players that perhaps isn't good enough, we don't know, but what he's inherited is a club that is riddled, absolutely riddled with negativity. Real negativity. Nobody likes anybody else. Nobody pulls for anybody else. Nobody seems to be rowing in the same direction. It's a club at this minute in time that's completely out of control. I said this the morning after the Sheffield Wednesday. I remember my quote was, once upon a time it was a cathedral on the hill where we went to worship. Now it's like a graveyard on the hill where we go to remember good times and remember good people. And it's a bit like that now.
Before I let you go, I want to just get your thoughts on the spat between Charnley and Benitez. It's bouncing off between the two. What do you make of all that?
I'm not. The one thing I would say is I'm not entirely sure that both parties or neither parties are blameless. I think everybody's holding back a little bit of the truth. You know, there are so many politics in football these days, and Rafa was very, very good at playing the game. Lee Charnley, under instruction from Mike Ashley to a degree, is going to toe the party line. So to be honest with you, I'm not going to blame Charnley and I'm not going to blame Benitez. I just think, as I say, it's symptomatic of a club where nobody's rowing in the same direction. This club, that just sitting there at the end there, watching Farker going around and whipping the crowd up, and Delia Smith smiling, and Norwich fans thinking this is the greatest day of our lives. I wanted Norwich City to be Newcastle United at that minute in time, and it's just not. And I'm not sure when that's ever going to happen.
Pleasure, Mick. Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on. Safe journey.
No one you.